For today's tajweed lesson, inshallah, we will be going over idgham without ghunna. And yeah, here we go. So title page. So this is going to be one of the first of several rules that we're going to go over for when there is a noon or a sukun or a tanween. And then there's another letter that comes after it. There are several rules for what to do in these cases, and it all depends on the letter that comes next. So in this case, we are going to go over idgham without ghunna. So this occurs when there is a noon or sukun, a noon with a sukun or a tanween before a lam or a ra. When this happens, what you do is you skip the noon sound altogether. You pretend like it's not there, and then you pronounce the next letter with a shadda. As I mentioned, the letters of idgham without ghunna are lam and ra. So all you will do is, if there's you'll skip the noon sound and go straight into this letter and put a shadda on it, on the lam or the ra. And we have a few practice examples. Would anybody like to try it out, how to pronounce them with these rules that I mentioned? Ali Shirazi, please go ahead.
La illam.
Perfect. So you just pretend like this noon isn't there at all. Would anybody else like to go? Please go ahead, Sister Zaina. Sorry, could you repeat that? Very good. So an rabbihim. So again, just pretend like that noon isn't even there. How about the next one? Brother Zain, were you talking? I think you're muted through your either your computer or your microphone itself.
Does your headset have a mute button?
Yeah, that might be the problem. While he gets that set up, Mohammed, would you like to tell us how this next example is read? Anybody else? Zain, do you think you're good?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. ذكر للعالمين.
Ahsan. Very good. And the last one. Okay, so I'll just go over it real quick. So this one would be pronounced La Ra'ufur Rahim. And you'll also remember that this the Ra is one of the letters of Tafkhim that we discussed when there is a fatha on top, or a fatha or a dhamma before it. So in this case, we are going to pronounce it with istila. So it's going to be, we're going to raise the back of our tongue a bit when we pronounce it. So instead of La Ra'ufur Rahim, it will be La Ra'ufur Rahim. It's also called with the full mouth. And that is it for today's lesson. And can you all please go ahead and type your names into the chat window, and I'll call on you one by one, inshallah, to recite. So as we mentioned, we are reciting from page 323. So it's the beginning of the juz in Surah Al-Anbiya. Sister Zainab, please go ahead.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وكم صمنا من قرية كانت ظالمة وأنشأنا بعدها قوما آخرين فلما أحسوا بأسنا إذا هم منها يركضون.
Ahsan. Very good. I made a mistake. It was actually page 322, the beginning of the surah. So, then Brother Reza, can you please start from, sorry, not Reza, Brother Ali, could you please start from page 322, ayah 1?
Okay, it starts with اقترا, right?
Yes, Iqtaraba.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون ما يأتيهم من ذكر من ربهم محدث إلا استمعوه وهم يلعبون.
Ahsan, very good. And good job with that idgham, which we just discussed. And dhikrim min rabbihim. That was a very good catch. And Brother Zain, please go ahead.
لاهية قلوبهم وأسروا النجوى الذين ظلموا هل هذا إلا بشر مثلكم أفتأتون السحر وأنتم تبصرون قال ربي يعلم القول في السماء
Is
والأرض.
there any button on your headset? Because you're clearly speaking and you're unmuted, so
He wasn't muted this time. Sorry, Zain. Please, could you start again from the beginning of the ayah?
لاهية قلوبهم وأسروا النجوى الذين ظلموا هل هذا إلا بشر مثلكم أفتأتون السحر وأنتم تبصرون قال ربي يعلم القول في السماء والأرض وهو السميع العليم.
Ahsan, very good. Thank you. And Brother Reza, please go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بل قالوا أضغاث أحلام بل افتراه بل هو شاعر فليأتنا بآيات كما أرسل الأولون ما آمنت قبلهم من قرية أهلكناها أفهم يؤمنون.
Ahsan, very good. Thank you. And Sister Sahar, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما أرسلنا قبلكم إلا رجالا نوحي إليهم فسلوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون وما جعلناهم جسدا لا يأكلون الطعام وما كانوا خالدين ثم صدقناهم وعدا فنجيناهم وما نشاء وأهلكنا مسرفين.
Very good. Thank you.
Let's just stop for a minute with verse number 7. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا قَبْلَكَ إِلَّا رِجَالًا نُوحِي إِلَيْكُمْ نُوحِي إِلَيْهِمْ. Allah says that we sent before you prophets whom we gave revelation to. This is the desire of Allah, that the prophets that come to us be human beings like us. And although they are ma'soom, they have all of the human needs and desires and temptations that we have. But they don't answer shaitan. They instead block him out and respond to the call of Allah. Not because they have no choice, they have a choice, but they choose to do what's right. And that's why they're a role model and an example for us. Now, people came to Prophet Muhammad and they made unreasonable expectations or demands from him. They said, why don't you uh, do a miracle for us according to our expectation or our demand? Or why don't you, uh, uh, become like an angel? And the Quran says that all of the previous prophets that came, they were also human beings. So they can be a role model for human beings. And they did miracles on the command of Allah, not on the demand of people. I can't walk up to the prophet and say, I want you to do this to prove to me you're a prophet. Allah is the one who tells a prophet at a certain time that this is an appropriate time to show a miracle in order to demonstrate the truth of the message. And then the Quran says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If you're not aware of this, you don't know the history of the prophets, then ask those people who do know. And that principle of the Quran, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ, is about the previous prophets. If you want to know about the previous prophets, then ask people who know their stories. But it's also a general principle. Whenever we don't know something, we should first try to learn from people who have experience and expertise, and not just give an opinion from our own guesswork. A lot of times people, they have opinions, but they don't have the knowledge or experience to have a good opinion. And so the Quran says, as a general matter in life, not only about the prophets, but anywhere, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. When I don't know, then I should try to get authentic knowledge, true knowledge from those people who do know. And Ahlul Dhikr, final point, refers first and foremost to Ahlul Bayt, because Ahlul Bayt are the people who have all knowledge that we can use and that we need for our guidance. And this verse is one of the reasons why Ahlul Bayt are also called Ahlul Dhikr. They are the people of remembrance and knowledge.
Thank you, Sayyid. And I think the only reciter we have left now is Muhammad Ibrahim.
Where are we?
We are on the last ayah on page 322.
What ayah is that?
That's ayah 10.
Okay, what?
لَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد أنزلنا إليكم كتابا فيه ذكركم أفلا تأكلون وكم قسمنا من قرية كانت ظالمة وأنشأنا بعدها قوما آخرين فلما أحسوا بأسنا إذا هم منها يركضون لا تركضوا وارجعوا إلى ما أترفتم فيه ومسكنكم لعلكم تسألون
تسألون.
تسألون
Ahsant. Very good. Thank you, Mohammed. And Ali, I can see you there. Would you like to recite as well?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قالوا يا ويلنا إنا كنا ظالمين فما زالت تلك دعواهم حتى جعلناهم حسيدا خامدين وما خلقنا السماء والأرض وما بينهما لاعبين لو أردنا أن نتخذ له ولاتخذناه من لدنا إن كنا فاعلين.
Ahsant. Very good, Ali. Thank you.
I
Looks
think
like,
we are finished with, we can go one more round if people want to volunteer. Just a quick comment and translation of this verse number 16. وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاءَ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا لَاعِبِينَ. Allah says that the heaven and earth, we didn't create it as a game. We didn't create it in jest. And that's a reminder to us that our existence and the creation of the heavens and the earth has a purpose. It's not just for us to explore or to have fun or to pass time. It is for us to accomplish what Allah has created us to accomplish, which is to become closer to Allah, to become more similar to our Prophet and our Imams, and to carry out their guidance and their purpose in our lives. So those are the reasons for our existence, and not la'ib and lahu, not just a material or a superficial existence.
thank you, Sayed. Would anybody else like to recite again? Okay, thank you, Reza. Please go ahead.
Sorry, what verse are we on?
We are on 17, I believe.
Okay. Does 17 start with لو أردنا?
Yes.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لو أردنا أن نتخذ له ولا لا اتخذناه من لدنا إن كنا فاعلين بل نقذف بالحق على الباطل فيدمغه فإذا هو ذاهق ولكم الويل مما تصفون.
Ahsant. Very good, Reza. Thank you. So one thing that's good to remember is so huwa zahiq, on top of the qaf, there's the tanween, of course, but on top of that, you also have a small jim. So what that jim means is that you can stop there if you want, or you could just continue. It doesn't really matter either way, but it's a good chance to catch your breath if that's something that you'd like to do. It often makes it easier to recite as well. And Muhammad Ibrahim, please go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وله من في السماوات والأرض وما عنده لا يستكبرون عن عبادته ولا يستحسرون ويسبحون الليل والنهار لا يسترون.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you very much. And Sister Zainab, please go ahead.
Are we on ayah 20?
We are on ayah 22 actually. Sorry. No, sorry, 21. So Amit Takhadu.
عليهم أم اتخذوا آلهة من الأرض هم ينشرون لو كان فيهما آلهة إلا الله لفسدتا فسبحان الله رب العرش عما يصفون.
Ahsan. Thank you, Sister Zainab. And Brother Zain, please go ahead.
لا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون أم اتخذوا من دونه آلهة قل هاتوا برهانكم هذا ذكر من معي وذكر من قبلي بل أكثرهم لا يعلمون الحق فهم معرضون.
Ahsan. Thank you very much. And Ali Ibrahim, please go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أرسلنا من قبلك من رسول إلا نوحي إليه أنه لا إله إلا أنا فاعبدون وقال اتخذ الرحمن ولدا سبحانه بل عباد مكرمون لا يسبقونه بالقول وهم بأمره ما يعملون.
Ahsan. Thank you very much, Ali. Said, any more insight on these last several ayahs?
I think we can take just a quick look at this verse 22. لو كان فيهما آلهة إلا الله لفسدتا. The Quran says that if there were more than one God, then you would find that there isn't a beauty and a harmony in creation. Now, there is a lot of destruction in creation, just in the earth. You have animals that hunt other animals. You have, major natural disasters like storms, earthquakes. In the heavens, you have stars that are born, and you have stars that are destroyed. But all of those different types of creation and destruction, they're part of a balance, an equilibrium, a harmony. So when you have animals that eat other animals, they also are part of the same ecosystem, and there is a balance. When you have earthquakes or other natural disasters, they change the habitat, they change the earth, but then there is a balance that is restored within the earth, within all of creation. If there were more than one God, you wouldn't find harmony, you wouldn't find beauty within creation. There would be no greater equilibrium or harmony that's being restored. And the Quran says that if there were more than one God, la fasadata, heavens and earth would not be able to survive. They would become rotten, they would become destroyed. And the beauty of God's creation and the harmony in God's creation is one of the most visible signs we have that there is one creator who has created all of heaven and earth and who sustains heaven and earth. And the Quran expresses that in this verse 22 of Surah Al-Anbiya. لَوْ كَانَ فِيهِمَا آلِهَةٌ إِلَّا اللَّهُ لَفَسَدَتَا. If there were more than one God, you wouldn't find harmony, you would find rot, you would find corruption within the universe. فَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَرْشِ عَمَّا يَصِفُونَ. So glory be to Allah, the Lord of heavens, the Lord of the divine throne, from what people falsely claim, that there is more than one God, or that God has a son, or that God has a partner. And that's a reminder that God's creation is one of the signs of Tawheed. So I think with that we can end.
Thank you.
Jazakumullah. Thank you, Brother Iman, for the Tajweed lesson, and thank you for all of our reciters. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Thank you.
assalam.